Welcome to lesson 2 here of Faceless Content Mastery. This is a very important one. I'm going to show you how to set up your account for success. And more specifically, we're going to be focusing on TikTok. So let's hop onto my computer and get right into this. One thing you should know about TikTok is that it's a location-based platform, meaning that it will mostly show your posts to people who are in your country or around it. Now, if you're in the USA, you're already good to go and ready to make your account, but don't do it until we finish this lesson. To target the United States when living outside of the country, you want to follow these steps exactly. Now, don't try something different and then ask me why it's not working. Do this exactly. The first thing you want to do is get a new or used device. It could be an iPhone, an Android phone, an old iPad. It doesn't really matter what type of device it is. If you don't have one laying around, you can buy one for probably 50 bucks on eBay. Now, once you get this device, you want to factory reset it. Just bring it to the default settings, and then you're going to get a paid VPN. Don't use a free VPN because the paid ones are more reliable. NordVPN is just a recommendation. And now, once you've gotten your paid VPN, you can then connect it to a United States location. If you don't know what a VPN is, essentially what it does is masks your IP. So let's say you're in Slovakia and you want to make TikTok believe you're in the United States. You use a VPN to mask your location. So once you've gotten your paid VPN, you've connected it to the USA, you can then open the TikTok app and create a fresh account. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure you're following these rules here. You want to make sure you're using an email that you haven't yet used to create a TikTok account. But TikTok can also recognize right now with the emails. If you just open up a brand new email account right now and then open a TikTok account, TikTok is actually able to reconcile that information and they could use that against you. So it's better to use an email that you've maybe had for a little while, or if you need to make a new one, you really need to, then just, subscribe to some newsletters, send a couple things to yourself to show that it's an active inbox. It's called email warming up is the process. The second rule here is to use this device only for TikTok. Some people stay strict to this, some people don't. I say you should, just to make sure that you are absolutely using this to its highest potential. And you want to make sure that you never open the app, TikTok app, or post anything without being connected to the VPN. And another thing too, if somehow you have contacts on this device, or it asks to sync the phone number, don't do it. Don't sync anything on TikTok. Just when you create your account, you want to turn on analytics and turn on DMs. But the one thing you should not do is do not turn your account into a business account. That will cause issues down the line that we don't need. So don't turn it into a business account. Now, the second step here is to set up your display. Now, think of your display as your username, your profile picture, and your bio. It's pretty straightforward. And choosing your username doesn't need to be complicated. You just want it to be SEO optimized, which means that if people in your niche are searching for content, they may stumble upon yours. Right now, TikTok is very much leaning on becoming a search engine like Google is. They just also released, you could post 30-minute videos. I got a notification on my phone the other day. They want to be like YouTube. They're just adding more and more things to continue taking over. And you want to be a part of that. That's why we're here right now. So when it comes to creating your username, let's say, for example, I'm creating a page around the topic of high-value men. I would just use a simple ChatGPT prompt to give me some username ideas so I don't gotta flex my brain to really figure out a name. So I'm gonna put in the prompt here and say, I'm creating a TikTok page that makes content around the topic of high-value men. Give me 10 short username ideas. And within a few seconds, boom, I got 10 username ideas. Now, by the way, this is just using the free ChatGPT version, not the paid one. Now, once you have these ideas, you kind of just want to go through and choose one that you like the best. So for me, what I saw here out of this list of 10 is number 6. I saw top tier mate. It kind of just put a spark in my mind, a little idea where I wanted to put a twist on that. I like the idea of top tier men. I think it sounds good. I think it fits the niche. Cool. Username, done. The next thing is your profile picture. Now, to do this, we're going to be using the AI tool Midjourney and then Canva. And one important piece of your profile picture is you want to make sure that there's a person in that picture instead of just a background with a text or a logo. And the reason why is because we've seen that it's proven to generate more views, engagement, and later down the line, sales when there's an actual figure or person in that profile picture. So Midjourney is something we're going to dive into in a future lesson. But to get you started, here's a quick example of how I would use these tools to create a profile picture for top tier men, my page about high value men. I'm going to overlay a screen recording right now, and essentially what I'm doing is just going into the Midjourney tool, which you use through the Discord app on your phone or on your desktop. In this case, I'm using my desktop, and here I'm putting in a prompt for what I want to be generated, and then the results pop up. And the text that I inputted is referred to as the prompt. And the prompt, when broken down, the way I like to structure it is just thinking of the first part as, who is the person? Who is the person that I want this image to be of? So in this case, I said, distinguished high value man looking to the side. Where is this person? So then I put a comma, open room with skyline colors. And now what's the scene? The scene, I would add a comma again, sipping a glass of whiskey, comma, scene. Then I click the return button and it starts processing my images and gave me what you see right here. And out of these four, I like the third one the best. And just to get a little bit of a higher resolution picture, you'll see there are buttons under your prompts that say U3, U2, V1, V2. Essentially, the U stands for upscaling one of the images, which will make it high resolution, or the V stands for making variations of one of the certain images. So in this case, I like the third one, so I clicked U3 and then went over onto the Midjourney website, logged in, where I could then download that picture onto my device. And then we need to take that picture over onto a new project in Canva to make our final profile picture. So the first thing I'm doing once I add my image over to Canva is I'm going to click Edit Photo and then drag the brightness to a minimum of -10. The reason why is because we want the text that we're going to be adding over this to be more visible. So what I did here is just kind of zoom in on the picture, make it just fit in a little bit better. I brought down the brightness and then needed to add the text. So I added a header text. I typed in my name, top tier men, made the size bigger, looked at a couple different font options, and then messed with some colors. And then once I found a color that I liked, I added a black drop shadow just to make it a little bit more visible. And the font that I've chosen here is specifically just to focus on the modern feeling of a high value man. You know, we have a picture of this, top tier man sipping a glass of whiskey with the city behind him. We want to choose a font that kind of represents the feeling of high value men. And I felt that this one did a pretty decent job at that. And the next step of your display, now that you have your username, you have your profile picture, is going to be your bio. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're not putting call to actions and things like that here. What we're going to be doing is putting a very simple one sentence line that gives a very clear understanding of what our niche is. Who are the people? So if I'm choosing high value men, I go over here back to ChatGPT, say, write 5 one sentence lines that describe high value men. And now I have 5 different sentences describing high value men. But I never just choose the one exactly off of ChatGPT and copy it over onto a new account as the bio. What I like to do is restructure these first in my mind, just thinking instead of it being are, so high value men are characterized by blank, what if we change this to a do statement? A do statement is more powerful and relatable to the people that are going to be following the content. So instead of high value men are characterized by their unwavering integrity, high value men blank. High value men communicate, high value men prioritize, high value men exhibit. It's a different way of displaying the same type of value. So let's say we choose sentence number 1 and I want to restructure that for a nice simple bio. It says, originally, high-value men are characterized by their unwavering integrity and ethical principles, comma, always striving to do what is right. I would just change this, say, high-value men live only by integrity and ethical principles. It's very simple, because we have to think. On TikTok, we're starting out here. People are going to be clicking on our profiles, seeing it, and we just need to give them a reason to continue this positive feedback cycle. We want them to like our stuff. We want them to follow us. We want them to enjoy the content we're posting and continue to come back. It's a positive feedback loop that we want to continue and get a ton of people following. So by having just a simple line, we're reducing friction of someone being turned away and turned off by what we're doing. So that's an example of a good bio. Now we need to warm up the account. Before we get into anything else, you set up your display, you've made the new account, we need to warm it up. This is a little bit maybe more of superstition, but it's always worked, so I'm going to teach it to you here. And it's essentially a way just to be proactive and make sure that everything we're doing here is going to garner as much results as possible. That's the end outcome. I want you to get amazing results. I want a testimonial from you. I want you winning, and then I can share that with others, and then everybody's winning. That's the ideal scenario, so don't skip this. After you make your new account, I want you to spend a couple days scrolling through the feed, liking, commenting on videos, just to prove to TikTok that you're a real person. And what you can also do is make this time productive. You don't have to just scroll mindlessly and melt your brain. Go on the TikTok account and search for other pages in your niche. Save, bookmark their highest performing videos. You're making this process effective and useful. And then there's some ground rules. As we move forward, start posting on TikTok, I want you to just remember these things. 1, don't create a business account. 2, don't use terms like how to make money, become rich by doing X. It's a direct promise or guarantee in a way where in the TikTok terms and policies, they have one that's very much against that. So there's a big difference between how to make money versus here are 3 ideas that could make X. Like you're just suggesting, you're not telling someone this can do this. And that rule definitely more so applies to kind of financial claims. The next one is don't use any content that tells people how to make a dollar amount, which is similar to what I was saying. I can't tell someone this will make you $1,000. This will make you $1 million. Nah, TikTok's they're not gonna fuck with that. Next, don't allow TikTok to sync with your contacts, your phone number, your Facebook friends, none of that. Don't use words like suicide, sex, or porn. Pretty straightforward. Next, never delete your posts. Early on here, you're going to be testing a few different things, you'll see. And once you do find something that works, you'll probably want to be like, oh, I want to clean up my account and get rid of the old things that weren't working. But don't delete them, just archive them. And just make them private, so only you can see it. And the next thing, and last thing on here, is don't post more than 5 times per day and have at least 2 hours between your posts. And now we are officially ready to get into the next lesson. And honestly, it's one of the most important ones out of this entire thing, which is how to write winning scripts. So I'll see you in that lesson. Peace.